a good show. It's coming up.
Otherworldlyculture.com. Logan Trowbridge is a stud.com. An umpire and a vampire square off week after week, reviewing movies outside their own strike zone. This week's movies: the 1978 Dawn of the Dead and the 2003 Men with Brooms, starring Leslie Nielsen, Ken Foree, Galen Ross, Molly Parker, Paul Gross, and Tom Savini. Now two guys who acknowledge that some Elizabethan slang rocks. Devil's Port Gate. Tim Crutchman and Jeff Miller.
Wow, you got me on that one, man.
I'll tell you later off air. I have to. I can't tell you on air.
Okay.
But hey, wait. But before, wait.
Wait, we gotta open the show.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Okay.
Did you like how I introduced the numbers this week?
I did.
I did that in a different language.
Okay.
Mime.
Let me tell you, getting to see Jeff do the live read at the beginning of the show is a treat. It's a treat. I don't get to see that much. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Dead on the Bases.
Welcome.
He's the ump.
Yep.
He's Jeff Miller.
That's right.
Jeff is often known as the man who sits in the other chair, which is accurate. Jeff is the ump because he's a huge sports fan, as if you can't tell from his attire.
Yes.
And he loves sports movies so much, I give him horror movies to watch.
Yeah.
And then you...
Yeah, well, that's true, and I just loathe horror movies. But I do the same thing to Tim. Tim is the vamp. Why? Because he loves horror movies. I'm not going to get into your whole I was born in 1422 stuff. I'm just going to let that go.
That's true, though.
I'm going to let that go.
It's true.
Because you gave me some willy stuff. You're telling me some stuff that gave me kind of the willies earlier, so we're just going to let that go. But anyways, he loves horror movies, so I stick him with those sports movies.
And
Win one for the
suck.
Gipper.
Holy cow, they're terrible.
So we have to review. So like in the open, we review movies outside of our own comfort zone, strike zone,
Right.
and see what a regular person would think of these movies that aren't fans of those movies. And so far, we're 5 seasons in, so we must be doing something right.
And I want to thank all the people that come out live. We do have more people that tune in later.
Yeah.
Because they say, I don't know that I can take those sport movies live.
What?
I need to be able...
You know what I've been getting a lot of emails about? They want us,
get a lot of emails.
yeah,
Okay.
people want us to do a live show.
A live show.
Like a live show, like out somewhere, so they can come and watch in a live viewing audience.
That's... Honestly, that has never happened that anybody has asked you that.
I will print off the emails next week.
You will product.
After I type them
You
up.
will product. Ladies and gentlemen, a product is coming.
I have a feeling a lot of it's going to be blacked out, so you're not really going to know what's behind all the letters. So.
Hey, you know what's really exciting?
What?
What's really exciting is this week's movies. How was that for a segue? It was pretty sloppy.
Pretty sloppy.
It was pretty sloppy.
But you know what? This is 5 seasons, and we can pretty much do whatever we want.
I was telling you that in season 1. But so the movie I'm going to be reviewing is called Men with Brooms. We'll be talking about that. And Jeff was assigned the very easy to watch Dawn of the Dead. Such a wonderful, nice romance. So that is coming up in today's show. We never decided who was going to go first, so I'll just go first.
Yeah, you can go first.
I'll go first because I want to. So
it's really Tim's show. Tim calls the shots here, so whatever he does, we do.
Well, frankly, it's whichever button I can find first is key. So again, I'm Tim Crutchman. I'm the vamp.
Oh, I can't. I'm in two shots here. Do you want that?
What do you mean in 2 shots? Just
Doesn't
stay
it-
in your lane.
I am. I did not move. I did not move.
I think you did.
Why is that camera? The camera's like pointing right at you. Is it that wide of an angle?
I think it is. Another reason I should probably replace it.
Holy balls! Should I move over? I will.
No.
Okay, good.
It's fine.
All right.
People want to keep an eye on you because you're kind of shifty. Hey, everybody.
Whoa! Holy cow.
Hey, everybody.
Tim must have really enjoyed this movie. He's excited.
I am excited to talk about this. This is the, I don't have the
He looks
year,
like a midget, but he's not.
I think it's 2002.
Yeah.
2002, Men with Brooms. First of all, I think we should start doing this at the reviews. Why did you give me this film?
I like this idea. Thank you for just like throwing it on me right now, but I do like to say...
I just thought of it, so there you go.
The reason why I decided... I really like this. So the reason why I decided to give Tim this is because I found out during season 4, which was over the Olympics last year,
right,
that Tim is a big curling fan. So you know what I thought? I'm going to use a curling movie to my advantage and to get some points. Okay. Because I lack points a lot. So I figured maybe having some curling in there, maybe he'll be like, all right, yeah, I get an extra point for that.
Let's define big fan.
Well,
I watch it only at the Olympics, and it's mostly because I think the commentators are hilarious.
But okay, that is true.
It is true.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I hear big fan, and I perceive big fan because that's all you talked about during the Olympics.
Right.
So I just ran with it. Okay, I ran with it.
And what's interesting, is you picked a movie I've been meaning to watch for years.
Now,
did you know that?
I did not know that.
Okay.
But the thing of it is that I've never seen this movie. I looked up a movie. I put curling in Google, and I'm like,
I think this is the only thing that would show up.
I'm like, I'm giving Tim this. I guess I get to watch it. So I've never seen it myself, but I did watch it for our review.
All right, so let's get into it. The star of the film is also the writer of the film and the director.
No kidding.
Paul Gross. Now, I recognized him immediately, and in fact, that's why I've been wanting to see this film. He's a very popular Canadian actor. And I would say everybody that isn't named Leslie Nielsen in this film is like a medium tier Canadian actor. You know what that means?
What?
That means almost all of them have either been in a Hallmark TV show or movie at some point. Now, Paul Gross, I recognized as the star of one of my favorite TV shows in the 90s called Due South. Do you remember this one?
No.
It was the Mountie that went to Chicago TV show.
Really? Sounds interesting.
It was good enough for me to watch the entire run of the series. It was one of those fish out of water type things because he played like a clean marine Mountie. And, the Chicago cop he was teamed with a little bit not by the book type of guy. So
sort of like Enos when they had a spinoff and Enos went to LA.
Very, very similar vibe. Very similar vibe. Not down south though. It was up north.
And I'm also going to ask one more question about this because I'd never seen it.
Yeah.
I'm picturing that maybe him coming onto the scene, maybe on a horse and in his red uniform. Does that show up at all in this? That's
the opening credits.
Oh, look at that!
Every week.
Look at that.
And he's in a Chicago street, waiting for the walk. I thought you were making this up. It was in the mid '90s. There were a lot of these. There was like Northern Exposure. A lot of
that was a good show.
Fish out of water, semi-drama comedy dramedy thing. But in fact, I think I found most of the series run out on YouTube someplace.
Really?
So it is available. I wouldn't say watch the whole series, but watch an episode or two. It's fun. But also Paul Gross shows up a lot on the Red Green Show, which is one of my favorites. You don't know that one. It's on PBS. It's a lot like Tim the Toolman Taylor type of show where it's all about men and we're doing stuff and all this. Okay. He shows up a lot on that. It's very Canadian.
Oh, it's a Canadian show?
But it's funny.
Really?
It's a funny show.
All right. Is it still in production or no?
No longer, but it went for something like 8 or 9 seasons. It was on the air a long time. PBS used it a lot for fundraising because it was one of the few things on PBS that you don't just want to urinate the moment it's on. It's a good show.
Okay.
As opposed to they got rid of their only other really good show, Sesame Street. So they're like,
sure.
oh, what am I gonna do? And it's a bunch of garbage.
Sesame Street's not on PBS anymore?
No, it's on HBO.
What?
I know, the world is upside down. My childhood is ruined.
You know what? I didn't.
This microphone is going in the wrong spot over and over. Have you noticed it? It's moving.
Stop. You know what?
It's moving.
You're trying to freak me out.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not. You're in good shape today.
Guarantee you somebody pops out of that
now
closet.
wait. Molly Parker is the female lead of this movie, though I kind of debate this, and we'll get into that. She is best known as being the mom on the new Lost in Space, which I really like. They remade Lost in Space as a TV series. She gets to play the mom, and it's really a good show. I like it a lot. So,
it's out now?
Yeah, I think they're in like season 3 or 4.
Really? And do they have a robot that looks like the original Lost in Space robot?
Very different looking.
Really?
Very
they
different.
Went off
they
they
really updated it. It's not the show you remember.
Oh, okay.
It's not the show you remember, but it's got the same characters basically, and it's fun because it isn't exactly the same thing. You don't know what they're gonna do.
Okay.
So I enjoy it. Jed Rees is in this movie, who I know from Galaxy Quest. He plays one of the aliens in Galaxy Quest. And any opportunity I ever have to mention Galaxy Quest, I mention Galaxy Quest. He was one of the 4 in the team. He was the one that was trying to knock up his wife.
Galaxy Quest is the one with Tim the Toolman Taylor, right?
Right.
And Sigourney Weaver.
Yes.
Okay, I've never seen it, but I've seen the poster, so I know.
Yeah, honest to God, it's in probably my top 5 movies.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Come on.
It is also, if you ever go on a cruise on Princess Lines, it will be on every screen at some point during your cruise.
Is it really that good?
It is that good.
All right.
In fact, let's go to the chat room. What do you guys say? Galaxy Quest? We'll get some folks in there. Oh, I see that we have Susie is out there, and Schwobette is now in there. So it's starting to fill in. Thank you for coming out to our chat room. Okay, so far I've been talking about the stars, and the one star you probably all know I haven't mentioned, Leslie Nielsen, who you know from Airplane, The Naked Gun, and my personal favorite for him is Forbidden Planet, which is also a great movie, and that had the prototype of the robot for Lost in Space called Roby the Robot.
Wow.
They did that. And he was also the captain in the Poseidon Adventure. People forget that Leslie Nielsen was a main character in Poseidon Adventure. Carrie Matchett. Okay, Carrie Matchett is the blonde girl that is kind of a bitch. That is the wife to the one guy that kind of quits the team and then comes back.
Yeah.
Okay. I fell in love with her. She was in a TV show called Nero Wolf that A&E had, where Timothy Hutton was in it. And I recognized her. I'm like, oh my God, are there any actors in Toronto without a job right now? Because they all came out of the woodwork. And here's another great thing for the Red Green fans. One of the, I'm going to call them an MC, but they were the sportscasters. The one that did most of the talking is a guy by the name of Bob Bainbro, and he played Dalton Humphrey on Red Green. So those of you that are sitting there looking at it and going, who is that guy? He, honest to God, he used to crack me up every time he showed up on that show. He was really funny.
Suddenly everything's intertwined in this.
Well, it's Canada. They have like one city in the entire nation.
I've been to Toronto, by the way.
Okay, so and I even marked it in my notes. Holy cow! Everyone in this cast has been in a Hallmark production, or the Outer Limits, which the new Outer Limits, which you're going to hear me talking about when I get to that section of the review. I suspect that production was 100% in Toronto. It's just riddled with these folks. Okay,
wait.
Yeah.
Real quick. If you have to pick Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, which one do you go with?
Twilight Zone.
Okay.
Yeah, zero seconds of waiting on that one. And the original Twilight Zone, not the reboots, not the
original.
The original. And I'm saying, of all those different iterations, it's the Rod Serling Twilight Zone. I used to have a book just on that TV show that I used to keep, and I borrowed it to somebody and they stole it.
And Outer Limits.
Is that kidding, by the way?
I believe you.
Yeah.
Outer Limits, is that the one where in the opening credits they had the eyeball? It had a door floating.
No, that's Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone had that.
What Outer Limits have?
Outer Limits had like a little wavy line, and they said, "We will control the horizontal.
Oh, no.
We will control the vertical. We are in control of everything that you see and hear for the next 60 minutes. Sit back while we brain fuck you." Anyway. Whoa. All right. Anyway, here we go.
I'll tell you what. Here's another thing. Everybody out there.
Eventually, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get to the review.
I think we're going to see a new leaf turned over here. That we're going to see a lot more rings on Tim's end than in my end.
No.
I think Tim's already up 1 ring to none. No. So let's just put it that way. Tim's like a swear man.
By the way, in the chat, I'm getting some backup on Galaxy Quest. That's a good call.
You want to watch it with your dad?
Galaxy Quest you can watch with your dad.
It says you can watch it with dad. I don't think Trogdor wants to watch it. He's like, you go ahead, watch it with him.
It's a great movie.
That's how I read it.
It is a great movie. All right.
I will watch that. I think I want to check it out.
Oh, we'll take care of that. All right. So this movie, we got to the movie.
To the review.
So the story is there's a coach of a curling team. He dies. This is not a spoiler.
Oh, yeah. Don't spoil it.
This is not a spoiler. This is like the first 10 minutes of the movie. He dies, and he wants his remains put in a curling stone. And not any stone. He wants this to be a special stone that is going to win the big tournament. Whatever this big...
The Golden Broom.
Is it? Okay, because I was about to say, I don't remember. It was so unmemorable.
They say it like 75 times in this show.
And I never wrote it down, and I was
I could have used that in my trivia.
Yes, you could have.
Wait, let me change my trivia.
Hold on. Okay. Well, now I know, so you're screwed.
So if I say it's the Golden Arches Broom, you'll know that that's not right.
Okay.
All right.
So, now, you hear that setup, and... if you sit there and you guess, it's like, well, the team's going to be totally dysfunctional. They're not going to be working as a team. And they're going to need something that brings them all together. Cue Leslie Nielsen, right, as the new coach. Here's my issue. This movie is a comedy.
Yes.
It should have... It feels like they played it a little safe. The characters are funny, but they're not funny enough.
You're right.
Like, there's one guy is a womanizer.
Yep.
He isn't enough of a jerk. There's one guy that's trying to knock up his wife, and that doesn't pay off quite the way it should.
Not at all.
And Paul Gross's character is just...
blah.
He's kind of a nice guy, but he cheats, okay? This is brought out very early on. He's a cheat in the game of curling. Which, let's face it, if you're not in Canada, here's your reaction. Oh, he cheated in curling.
we got. For
those of you on the audio show, I shrugged my shoulders.
Watch American sports at all. Watch basketball, football, baseball. They're taking steroids. Loaded bats. They don't care.
Right. It is absolutely astonishing that they had this great setup.
Yes, I agree with you.
And I think they squandered it.
I think you're right.
Everybody is trying really hard. I think it's because they're all Canadian. They want to be nice.
Yes,
more than
I think so.
Because like the guy that is always wearing a hat and he's kind of a womanizer, his character is made to be a jerk. And he does very little jerk stuff.
He does.
He does. I'm like, he should be breaking up with women all the time. I mean, it's just, I don't get it. And then, okay, so we get there. Then we get to the team that they're going to play in the final. And I swear they're the spitting image of the guys from Dodgeball.
Yes.
They're completely unbeatable. They're well-funded. And the main guy, the captain of the team, that's what you call him, right? Or skipper. The skipper of the team is super egotistical. I'm like, well, of course he is. Then, okay, here's a great example of how they don't capitalize on the comedy, right?
Right.
Okay, what's the name of the movie?
Men with Brooms.
Okay, what is it about? Curling.
Curling.
Right?
Yeah.
What's the other main piece of equipment in curling? There's brooms.
The stone.
The stone, right? At one point, Leslie Nielsen takes mushrooms. And he literally has this line. Hold on. He literally has this line. I'm a little stoned. They don't capitalize on that line. There's stones everywhere. I'm a little stoned. What? What? Come on. It's right there. The joke is sitting there.
Yeah. And
they don't capitalize. I was sitting there and it actually made me angry a couple times. It was like, there's a joke. Right there. Right there's your joke. They walk away. Walking away. And here's an interesting twist.
Yeah.
They're dysfunctional, right? It's a sports movie. Not one of them is a chemical abuser. How did that happen? The only chemical abuser is the female lead who's in AA, played by Molly Parker. Okay? Now, here's an interesting thing, too. I like curling. I enjoy the commentary and that stuff. But it's not the most exciting game to watch.
Oh, my God, no.
No, it's like watching competitive billiards. You know, it's like, ooh, that's a cool shot.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow, look
I
what
guess
they
I get
did.
that, yeah.
You know, to me, that's what it's most like. The sports sequence in this movie somehow make curling even more boring and slow-paced than the actual game. I actually think that's an amazing achievement. That they could take this and actually slow it down. Then there was another thing. They're constantly walking around with bagpipes. Parts of Canada speak French.
French Canadians.
But there's no Irish Canadian or Scottish Canadian. What is this? Where is this coming from? Then we got one of our main characters who, in my mind, is the actual female interest. Because it's the one he actually shows interest in all along.
Yeah.
Is the girlfriend that he kind of threw away, who is a Canadian astronaut. Now let that sink in. A Canadian astronaut. That's like somebody from New Berlin that doesn't deal meth. It just doesn't happen. I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. But it's like, what? A Canadian astronaut? Just throw that into the movie. I don't get it. Now, I will say there is some excellent performances. The acting is great. And that is from all the fans acting like it's an exciting game. Also, I was an hour. I actually do this whenever there's a comedy. When I get the first laugh in the movie, I check the time.
Okay.
I was 1 hour, 32 minutes in.
Oh my gosh. And how long was the movie?
An hour, 40 something.
Oh my goodness.
So the line is, by the way, that shot was impossible once. To do it again would be twice as impossible. That's an awesome line. That's it. And you could put that in any sports movie, by the way. But I thought, that's awesome. But what happened, and I realized this afterwards, movies got a cumulative effect. It like builds. It's always like almost funny. So at a certain point, you just kind of give in and you say, okay, I'll give him a laugh. I'm gonna laugh. They're trying.
I'll toss you one.
They're trying. They're putting beavers in the middle of the ground. There is some sort of beaver fetish going on.
Yeah.
Which, again, beaver.
Missed the mark.
The word beaver is used a lot, but not that way.
They missed the mark.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to be
And then,
nice.
okay, here's a great thing. It's a sports movie, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the movie, there's going to be the big game, the big moment, right?
Yeah.
What does this movie do right at the big moment? We decide to follow the pregnant wife into the John.
Oh, that's right.
She just excuses herself. I'm sorry, I can't watch this. I have to go to the bathroom. What?
You can hold off.
What? What? I mean, just crazy. But it does. It builds all this goodwill. So by the end, you're kind of with them, even though you're like, God, I wish they would be just a little bit better. I think this movie could have helped a lot if Paul Gross would have said, I wrote this movie. Let me go and talk to the guys at Saturday Night Live and let them punch it up a minute. Give it to Will Ferrell and Adam Sandler. See what happens.
Oh my gosh.
I think they'd have a classic here. They just they don't. And here's the other thing. What was this thing rated? Was it R? Was it PG-13?
I think it was PG. PG-13.
Okay, it was PG-13, but there was plenty of swearing.
Yeah.
And there's a wait,
no, it's rated R.
Okay,
Rated R.
because one of the best scenes in the movie is a guy jacking off to German porn. I'll just leave it at that. But then it's such a sweet little movie that doesn't fit. So it's like this movie has a hard time deciding what it is.
Was it an oxymoron type of movie?
I don't know that I go that far, but
okay.
It's
all right.
Just it's kind of the little movie that could.
Okay, all right.
It's like, man, just a little bit more. But you know what's great about movies like this? They're always good. For a couple horror movie.
Wow.
A couple horror movie. God damn you. It's going again. Why does this happen? Every show. Where's my... We're going to fix this.
Okay.
This is going to get fixed right now.
Okay.
Because I'm pissed.
Oh.
And that's not a swear word. Give me a break. That totally.
Now we're off air.
No, we're not off air. I'm about to go off air here because this is ticking me off. Not that one. Where are you? Stream Deck. You need to go.
This is like the most.
I'm so mad right now.
This is great podcasting right now as we talk about what's going on behind the scenes.
I'm mad. Okay, I'm going to say it.
Wait. Tim
is mad.
Is upset.
You don't, everybody knows me as a sweet little fella, right? Everybody knows the vamp is a nice guy. He might bite a few people, but overall, just a sweetheart. Now let's try this one more time. If it doesn't work this time, there's going to be a problem.
We'll just take the show off.
Let's try it again. You have got to be kidding me. Dang it. There it goes.
Oh my
Horror
God.
movie connection.
Don't look at me. I've got nothing to do with this. I sit over here and I wait my turn.
I worked hard for that. Okay. So.
That's what she said.
Paul Gross. Paul Gross.
Yeah.
Was in a TV show called Eastwick.
Okay.
Which was, you've heard of the movie Witches of Eastwick?
I have.
It was a TV series version of it. He played none other than the devil in that show.
Yikes.
So he was a fun-loving devil. That had a lot of sex.
In a TV show on TV?
Yeah, on that show.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. I loved that show. The three lead women were so scrumdiddlicious. Oh, God. God, I loved that show. I got to watch it again. Jed Rees, who I told you was in Galaxy Quest, which I'll always bring up Galaxy Quest when I get a chance to bring up Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Yeah. he was in an episode of The Outer Limits. Big shock, right?
Okay.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yep.
Now, you might even know one of the horror movie connections he was in.
He was in something you gave me last season, Creep Show. He was in
the
version with Ted Danson, right, where he buries him up to his head. Yep.
Correct. So Leslie Nielsen was in that. He was also in Prom Night, the 1980 version with Jamie Lee Curtis.
I wouldn't have seen that.
And he was in an episode of Night Gallery, but then again, everyone of his age was in Night Gallery. Carrie Matchett, who I told you earlier was in Nero Wolf, she was in Cube 2 and 3. Cube 1, one of these days.
I watched that.
Yeah.
I saw that. But
movie.
I didn't see the whole thing because one guy got chopped.
Because you were doing this?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Yes. And she was also one of the leads in Poltergeist Legacy, the TV series.
They made Poltergeist a TV show? Oh, my God.
It has almost nothing to do with Poltergeist.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens. They just slap the name on there to get some people to watch it. Polly Shannon. Now, she played the dumb girlfriend in the group of that one dude that's kind of the womanizer.
Yeah.
And she's awful cute.
Yeah.
She was awful cute. Mm-hmm. She was in none other than Are You Afraid of the Dark? Now, my brother right now is going insane. Because he absolutely loves that show. It was based on R.L. Stine stuff. They did Goosebumps.
I have no idea.
Yeah. It was like Scholastic books. It was a horror bunch of books for younger kids. So she was on there. She was on there. She was in a movie called Frankenstein and Me. She, of course, was in The Outer Limits. And the Hunger TV series. That's another one where there was a movie called The Hunger about vampires, so they had to create a TV series. But that one actually kind of follows the movie a little bit. Peter Outerbridge. That's the hat-wearing guy that they say is the takeout artist.
Yeah.
He was in Saw 6, Silent Hill Revelation, Nightmare Cafe, which starred Freddy from Robert Englund, Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger.
And, of course, he was in an episode of The Outer Limits. Ha! It worked that time.
Yay.
You see that?
Tim.
Now, one of the things I have to do before I give it the grade is I need to remind everybody the scores are based entirely on how much I enjoy the film, but my points go to Jeff. And then Jeff will be part of the trivia and he gains his own points. But this is based on him picking a movie that I will like enough to get the points.
I like that
now,
explanation.
One of the problems with this movie, obviously, and you probably figured this out already, is the movie just needs more murder. There's no murders in this film. That's a problem.
Okay.
So, you know that.
Yes.
How much?
But there was a dead person in it. Well, he did die.
Okay, whatever.
It gets a little bit. He wasn't murdered, but he
it's
did
not
die.
a murder. It would have been better if somebody with a hockey mask or something would have killed him.
Well, there was a hockey movie. It was a curling movie.
Okay, a guy in a curling mask. Is there a curling mask? Can you see a bunch of guys out there?
No, it's probably a guy with a curling iron. All right, go ahead.
There is a movie. Okay, I'm not going to get into that.
Okay.
Susie will probably get all over that. Anyway, I am going to give this a 7.
Wow.
Which I think is a solid grade.
That's a solid grade.
But, it isn't as funny as it should be. I will tell you, had the movie ended 30 minutes earlier,
it would have been an 8.
No, it would have been much lower.
Oh,
because I feel I didn't really start enjoying it until we got pretty deep in the film. We were going and going and going, and finally we got there. All right, so we're at the midway part of the show.
Okay, so you gave it a 7. Gotcha.
Yes, I gave it a 7. Oh my God, I took way too much time. But
no, you didn't.
We are going
Trust me, you didn't.
Oh boy. All right. We are going to go now to our new mid-show scene.
Not what is Jeff drinking? We've scratched that.
No, this is otherworldly culture, sports,
There you go.
with your correspondent, Jeff Miller.
All right. We got a couple quick.
Hey, sports fans! You got to start with "Hey, sports fans."
Hey, sports fans.
There we go.
Sports movie fans. Horror movie haters. I got your. Hey, I kind of like that. All right, so I got some sports here for you.
Nobody else did. Just telling you.
So, Prime, Amazon Prime is.
Yes.
They have their
That's
first
exciting.
football game tonight, and
Oh.
it's the Chargers at the Chiefs.
Okay.
So that's a pretty interesting game. I mean, we'll see how Amazon handles this, how the public handles it too, because you have to have Amazon Prime in order to watch this game, which had been free for so many years. So we'll see how that goes. Early reports were Amazon Prime was having a hard time getting this game started tonight. So I'll be curious to hear all that is once our show is done.
Okay.
The Packers and the Bears. The Bears won last week in a sloppy game. The Packers lost last week in a sloppy game.
Ooh.
Sloppy in two different ways. The Bears were sloppy because of the weather. The Packers were sloppy because of their quarterback and their offense and their defense and everything. But nevertheless, the Packers play the Bears this Sunday on Sunday Night Football, and the Packers, believe it or not, are a 9-point favorite.
Okay.
The Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers are still scraping at a wild card spot. It's hard to believe if they're going to get the division, but they're only 2 games out of the wild card. Don't do it. They're only 2 games out of the wild card with 20 games to play. They have a big series coming up this weekend against the New York Yankees.
I've heard of them.
Yep, and the Yankees have not been in Milwaukee since 2014.
Those scrappy little underdogs, the Yankees.
Yeah, with Aaron Judge with his 57 home runs. And by the way,
Yes.
with those 57 home runs, he has a chance, which he'll probably break. He has a chance to hit over 61, which would be the new American League record. 61 home runs were hit by Roger Maris in 1961 to overshadow Babe Ruth's record of 60 home runs in 1927.
Wait, I thought like McGuire and all those guys are as added asterisks because they were so drugged up.
No, because yes, they have the record, the overall record, but if you split them into leagues, the American League record is
gotcha.
61. The National League record is 72, I think, by Barry Bonds.
Okay.
So that's how that goes. But yes, they were all chasing Roger Maris
Okay.
in 1998.
Okay.
But the big story that we're going to end on here, the big positive story, the Milwaukee Milkmen
Woohoo!
won last night.
Oh, okay. I thought it was something else.
No, they won last night to advance to the championship again for the first time since 2020.
What is the championship called there for the Milkmen?
I knew you were going to ask me that. So anyways, they're going to rename it to the Jeff Miller
It's
Trophy.
called the Golden Broom.
It's called the Golden Bat.
Broom, the Golden Bat.
As long as
Golden Bat, I would be for as a vampire. I think that would be sensitive to vampire Americans.
Okay. Oh, jeez. So, Golden... Oh, I get it now. I was thinking of the Golden...
It's getting there.
I got it.
Okay.
So, anyways, I will have that. When they win it, by next week, Thursday, I will have the name of the trophy or the championship.
Okay.
But anyways, they're going to the finals for the first time since 2020. And in 2020, they won the whole thing.
Any home games? during
Yes.
this?
Thank you. Thank you for asking. Yes,
That's what I do.
There's a home game Saturday night and Sunday night. And then there's 3 games away. We don't know who they're playing yet.
Okay.
But they'll be playing the next 3 games away. It's the best of 5 series, so the Milkmen hopefully will win the 2 games here at home so that they can go to wherever they have to go and win 1.
Okay, and I did get our official statistician for the show.
73,
Tells
thank you.
us 73 on Bonds.
72, 73.
It's the same.
Thank you.
It's the same number. Everybody else would
but
round it off.
But you know what?
But you sports people think this is important.
But I appreciate that, so thank you. That's it.
You know what that is?
No.
That's the new shipment of Jumping Jeffs. Now, some people think this is the popular exercise, is a Jumping Jeff. But it's actually like a little metal spike that you throw.
No, you know what that reminds me of? The thing that NASA sent out to outer space to contact other life forms.
Yes.
That kind of looks like that guy, that naked
You know, a lot of people would send you, Jeff.
Doesn't that look like that? Is that...
It does.
And the reason why Tim keeps showing that is because down deep he wants
Updated.
Jumpin' Jeff merch.
I think people are calling for it.
You know what we're gonna have for Jumpin' Jeff merch? I'm gonna have my own line of jump ropes.
Jump ropes.
And it's gonna have the Jumping Jeff logo on the handles.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Hey, everybody. It's the Jeff Miller.
So-
He's got another great review coming up. What movie are you reviewing, Jeff?
Let me look at the name of it again.
I'll put it up on the screen for you.
Dawn of the Dead. And so here's a little.
It's probably the greatest thing you ever saw.
Here's a little backstory that we're gonna get into that I talked to Tim a little bit about beforehand.
Sorry.
So we got rid of the what's Jeff drinking?
Yeah.
And to quote Lloyd Bridges in Airplane. So this is the week I decided to give up alcohol, and I'm subjected to this movie.
Subjected
Oh.
to a classic.
Oh, and this is where I'm going to get lambasted on this. Lambasted on this is because it's a classic.
I think Lambastard would be okay.
So, yes, there you go. So, Dawn of the Dead. This is a 1970.
Great movie.
This is a 1978 movie.
Fantastic film.
Okay, Tom Savini's in it, so I'm like, all right, we'll see how this goes. This is a zombie movie.
It's a friend of Jeff's, by the way.
It is, and when I see him in March, I'll make sure of that. Everybody will know that.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Well, real quick. Let's segue real quick. March is going to be Horror Realm 2023.
We've got that later on.
Oh,
yes,
okay. So
it's coming in March.
all right. So back to my time.
Yes.
All right. So
Get on.
This is a zombie movie. I've seen a couple other zombie movies before. Actually, when this movie, like the beginning of this movie and like the first 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Pretty chaotic.
It is.
Yep.
And what it reminded me of was Planet Terror. It
yeah.
It reminded me a lot of that because in Planet Terror, when they're in the hospital and stuff's going on, it's just chaotic. Things are going everywhere. People are getting killed everywhere. How far can I go with this as far as spoiling it?
It's from 1978.
Okay, just saying. All right. So anyways, so let's put it this way. I wish somebody would have spoiled it for me before I watched it. But anyways, so anyways, Tim's shaking his head. He's going to be PO'd about my review, but this is how I felt.
Okay.
So anyways, so everything's
It's
going.
all about Jeff's feelings.
No,
ladies and
I'm not
gentlemen.
that way. No way. Listen to this. So anyways, so it opens up, which is really cool. It's in a TV studio, which I love radio and TV and all the behind the scenes stuff. So I'm like, this is kind of cool. This is in the studio. You see the board.
That doesn't last long.
You see the on-air light. You see everything going on. You know what I mean? But it was cool, Tim, on how they.
And what it looks like in the 70s.
Right.
Right? Because they have like the video toaster and it's like the openings and closings of locations. And you're like, oh my God, that's so prehistoric.
But it's so cool because the way that the way that they put this together is you hear the news report, but then you can't really hear it all. And they come into the news report like part of the way into it. So you're like, oh my God, this is chaos. They did a really good job of creating the chaos, which I liked. It takes place in Philadelphia, and the first zombie movie I watched took place in Pittsburgh. So the thing of it is don't go to Pennsylvania, otherwise you're gonna come across a zombie. All right.
Yeah.
So then they go from that. Then somehow they got to an apartment complex, and then somehow they got onto a helicopter, and then they're flying around, and then they come down, and they're like, now I didn't know this is a thing, Tim, but there's just gas pumps out in the middle of the field, and like, oh, we're gonna fill up our helicopter. So they go there. Oh, but they're going to all these places because they realize that there's these zombies.
Have you ever go to a podunk like private airport?
Yeah. No.
They kind of look like that.
Well, I didn't know that, so I was surprised to see it. Okay.
I had a friend in Green Bay that had a private airplane, and the airport we came out of,
really
sketchy.
Like going.
It looked like somebody laid a track behind a gas station.
And there was a gas pump right there, just similar to that.
Yeah, the difference was there was hangars for people to keep their planes,
right?
Which were huge buildings. But if you walked away from those, it's like there is one frickin' on-ramp. What do they call them?
On-ramp? Runway?
Runway. There's one on-ramp. One runway. And that was it. It's like people could pile up pretty quickly there. Okay, go ahead.
No, but no, back to this. But would you say it's on the level of creepiness compared to like those off-road way stations where you can.
Yeah.
Those things are.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I
right.
wouldn't go to the bathroom there.
I used to, but I don't anymore. I mean, you know what I'm saying. I mean, when you're.
Well, if you would have flushed the first time, it'd be better when you come back.
So, anyways, I don't even know what that means, but anyhow, that's an inside joke, inside earnest. I don't know, but here we go. So
that was a callback from before the show started.
Oh, that's true too. But
Nice.
anyways, but the thing is, all these zombies. Think of these zombies. They look like giant Smurfs. They're blue. Okay, this is Papa Smurf and his family coming after you. But that's what you know.
The color of this movie is commonly attacked. Yeah.
Right. So, but get this though, you really don't have to be. Okay, so what I learned in this movie. But wait, let's get into where they go. So they go and they fill up. Then they're flying and they're like, I don't know. The thing that got me is that they're going west. And I'm surprised they were going west because they got to go so far away. I'm surprised they didn't go like north or whatever. But they're going west, all right? And they see this shopping mall.
What's
like
west of Philadelphia?
Well, Pittsburgh. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, right?
That's
Pittsburgh.
where they end up?
Is that? I thought they were in Cleveland.
No.
I don't know. Anyways, You know where they end up? They end up, Pittsburgh. Where do they end up? They end up on top of a shopping mall.
Yep.
All right, but the cool thing about that is once they got into the shopping mall, all right, it was so nostalgic. Even though I tried to watch this because I am a very, and Tim knows this, I'm very like tedious when I'm watching something. I'm watching for the details.
You're very tedious on the show.
I'm looking for details, so I'm trying to look at all the different store names to see if I recognize any of them. But because this was 1978, it kind of predates Southridge and Northridge and all that. But there was a JCPenney, and JCPenney was the main mofo.
Yeah.
They had everything. Look at that. They had hardware. They had all sorts of stuff in there.
They had a wheelbarrow. They had all
who has a wheelbarrow in their store?
Not in Penny. Sears always had
Sears had a hardware department.
By JCPenney, I don't remember that. Now, I looked this up because I was like, where were we in shopping mall history when this movie got made? Indoor shopping malls were sort of at the beginning of their prevalence.
Were they? Okay.
When this movie got made. They expanded greatly during the 80s and into the 90s. In 2017, there were approximately 116,000 shopping malls. 116.
That's a lot.
Back in 1970, there were 30,000 shopping malls in the United States. I think that's even a lot.
That is a lot. I mean,
but look at Milwaukee. We have 8, 9 at one point.
Yeah.
So
I can see it then. Yeah, I mean, you can see where the number racked up.
Yeah. So, but when you look at this mall, you sit there and you go, oh, I remember that. The thing that I always look for, and I haven't seen them, but I always look for, where is there an ashtray on the wall? Because I remember Southridge used to have ashtrays, little bowls attached to the wall.
Yes, they did.
Just before you went into Sears or JCPenney, like, put out your cigarette now. You're going into the nice store.
We don't want you to burn our clothes. Because our clothes are highly flammable.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, my God. But I remember...
I do remember that now. You said it, yeah. They had urns, too, with the sand, with the white sand.
Yes, they had the sand. Yeah.
But,
oh, my God.
But that was the cool thing about being inside this mall for me, because I was trying to find some stores. I found JCPenney's. I found... there was one other store that I recognized. I can't think of it right now, but everything else was kind of... And also, if you think about it, that was Pittsburgh.
Some of it was regional.
It was regional.
There's in the first raid of the mall, you'll see a place called the Brown Derby.
I saw that quite a bit, yeah.
The Brown Derby was a mall. A bar that was inside the mall.
Really?
And during the shooting of this movie, a lot of the zombies would hang out there after the shoot. in this Brown Derby bar. And, you know, having a bar in a mall these days, people would go, are you crazy? That used to be normal.
Well, yeah, a lot of the stuff they used to do was normal.
Even now, we had JCPenney was big in there, and we keep seeing Singer.
Yeah, Singer.
Which I'm like,
I remember that.
Is Singer sewing machines?
Yeah, but they would have fabric in
But
there.
they would have in the mall, you would have sewing machines. Think about that. But JCPenney's now, very prophetically, also Undead.
Very good, Tim.
You're welcome.
So they're in the mall. They're basically going to live there until they're going to try to live out this whole zombie thing. They figure
Think about that. It's a good place.
it is because
If you're gonna
did
go,
you see when they were shopping? They were shopping for all sorts of crazy crap. I mean,
I love when they go through the bank.
yes,
They're like, let's take some
money.
It's worthless.
So, and the woman in here, she's pregnant. So we're that time bomb's ticking.
There's
That's
always
all
a
ticking.
pregnant woman.
This guy's in a wheelchair now because they ate his legs and they had to amputate his leg and all. And the thing of it is, okay, so now I'm going to get to a little bit more about zombies.
Yes.
I would not, and now even all this. Okay, every zombie movie is the same for me in a way. Is okay. I don't even know how to say this without swearing, so I'm not gonna. No, that's a good way. He shot that guy, that zombie. But they walk slow. You can push them over. They really don't pose any type of a threat. Zombies do not pose you any kind of threat.
Not alone, but they swarm.
But they swarm slow. You're seeing that right there.
Okay, so does that mean that you go up to a bee's nest and a beehive and knock it over? Because one bee couldn't really hurt you.
That's wrong, Tim.
But if they swarm you, you got a problem.
Bees are fast. These guys, do you see how slow they walk? Do you see how they just push them over? I don't even know.
Dude, have you seen me walk out of the gym?
Tim, I can outrun you.
That's pretty slow, too.
I mean, a lot of these times, they're just standing there waiting for the zombie to get to them before they're like, well, I better move.
Let me tell you, those zombies probably walk faster than me.
Tim, these zombies are not a threat. And with all this gunpowder, they could have went there and that's another thing. Let me ask you this. Okay, so they're shooting these zombies.
But who really was the threat? Because it wasn't the zombies at the end of the day that really caused the problem.
Okay, but
right?
Right. But I'm getting to the zombies right now.
So the level-headed team that we had, which was relatively level-headed.
You think so?
Except for the one moment where the guy got all hopped up on goofballs.
Yes.
And he started being a show-off. And if you notice, up until that point, he was always Joe Cool.
Yep.
He was always very relaxed, very chill, didn't get
a dead eye.
All of a sudden, like where he keeps slapping the gun out of him.
Yeah, that was pretty good. There's some comedic spots.
There's a lot of great comedy.
There's some
action. It kind of sounds like it's a great movie, which it is.
There's some good comedy one-liners in here that if you listen to, you're like, that was clever. That was clever. And there were some clever scenes. Yeah, that was clever.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, man.
We are hearing from the chat room that there was no Value Village, and that kind of upset some people.
But so here's the deal. Tom Savini's in it, so that's good. Because I've grown to like Tom Savini since I met him, and I didn't know I met him, and we've made fun of him. Well, you
made fun of him.
Well, I did make.
We are all honor bound to the guy. He did all this. Did you look at the special effects? Now, keep in mind, it's 78. They didn't have computers.
No CGI here.
No CGI. When they're jumping off the second floor, they're diving into cardboard boxes because they had like $1.98 to make this movie.
Yeah.
You look at what they did, like the head explosion. You didn't see head explosions in movies.
My head almost exploded watching this movie, so.
It's sometimes known as the Gone with the Wind of Gore.
Oh my God. Okay, let me get to my rating.
Movie. Yeah,
so here's the thing real quick. So then, I don't know.
This movie had a lot of murder, by the way. A lot of murder.
Where Tim just got done saying the last movie, the longer it went, saved it for him. For me, the longer this movie went, the lower the score went for me.
This movie is long. Yeah, it's long.
So this movie, Tim.
Yeah.
I'd have you guess, but I'm just going to tell you.
I'm thinking you're going to go. I got my finger over it. Go ahead.
2.
Oh, you went lower than even I thought. Okay.
Tim, there was points in this movie that I actually got up. I let the dog out. I came back because the same stuff.
Who let the dog out?
Tim, the same stuff. All they were doing were fighting zombies the whole time. There was just like it was in a perpetual motion type thing. It just kept on doing the same thing. I did not like this movie. There was no, and you know what? I'll go one step further, Tim.
Okay.
I would have.
You were scared.
And when you, no, that's another thing. There's another thing. I wasn't scared. Here's one more thing about Tim, and this is gonna. This scaredy cat. Okay, no, I wasn't. This is the thing. And
I can scare you.
And when I tell you this, you're gonna go whatever. But I would prefer to watch The Collector.
The Collector.
Or The Conjuring than this.
Really?
Because there's a story. This was nothing. This was just 2 hours of zombies shooting zombies. 2 hours of shooting zombies.
I'm actually surprised by that.
And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be...
I'm surprised about that.
I just didn't like it.
That's okay. I gave this one to torture you, so mission accomplished.
It tortured me with boredom.
Yes, awesome. All right.
I have a feeling you're gonna get back at me with these other movies.
I'm gonna get back at you so many times this season.
Well, I just think that
people have been telling me I've been giving you pussy level stuff here.
I'll tell you what, Tim. Instead of saying that, why don't you just say Devil's Portgate?
What?
Elizabethan. All right, trivia time.
Why is this so loud? I fixed this.
Trivia time, my friend. Trivia time.
3 times I fixed this damn thing.
You want to go first, or you want me to go first? Who wants to?
I'm mad. Jeff.
He's mad.
I'm mad.
He's mad in the angry way, not mad crazy way.
I'll explain the thing. What we do is it is trivia time, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off 3 items about the movie Dawn of the Dead, and Jeff is going to figure out which one is a lie.
Okay.
And then we'll do the same for me. So, here we go.
So you're going first? All right.
I'm going first.
All right, bring it, Tim.
Because you were mean to my movie.
I was honest with your movie.
Let's see. All right. We will go with your friend Tom Savini, who did the makeup on this film, which we talked about.
Yeah.
He actually piloted the helicopter in those scenes with a chopper.
Okay.
That's the first one. Number 2, Flyboy. You remember Flyboy? Yes. His zombie walk is considered the best by George A. Romero.
Now, George A.
the director
of
the film.
He also did some other things I've seen, right?
Night of the Living Dead. He's really known as Mr. Zombie.
Okay,
he's
all
the
right.
one that made all the big zombie movies.
All right, thank you.
This was the sequel to Night of the Living Dead.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Okay.
The Monroeville Mall, where this was shot, is still open and operating as of the time we broadcast this. Tom Savini, did he pilot the helicopter? Flyboy's zombie walk is a favorite, and the Monroeville Mall, is it still open? Which is a lie.
The lie is the last one. The
Monroeville Mall is still open and operating?
Yep. That's the lie.
Hold on, I gotta find the right button. Oh! I actually thought you might get this one. The Monroeville Mall actually is still a tourist attraction. People will go there to see where this movie was shot.
But is it open as a mall, or
yeah,
is it just...
it's still a mall.
It is. Okay, all right.
It's one of the few, and a lot of people think the reason it's still open is because of this movie, and so many people just go there out of curiosity.
How close is that to where we're going to be? Could we go to that in March?
It's a discussion we're having.
Okay.
Also, Tom Savini, he actually learned how to do makeup being a Vietnam vet, but he did not pilot the helicopter. So that was the lie. But Tom Savini, one of the things that he brought, you will notice in this movie, when people die, their mouth is open. That is something he always noticed, that in Vietnam, when people die, their jaw goes slack and their mouth is open. Wow. So that's one of the things he brought to the table. Okay, now it's time for you to tell me.
And I thought you threw that one in there because I would not think that he was flying the helicopter, because I never saw him in the helicopter. So I thought you're like, Jeff's not going to think a stunt guy flew it. So, all right, I got you.
I totally messed with you.
You did. But that's okay. That's what this is all
That's
about.
what it's about.
All right.
I thought you were going to go for Flyboy.
No,
But, okay.
no, that made too much sense to me. It honestly
And
did.
that is true. Yeah, it is a great zombie walk.
Yeah,
you have to say.
that made the most. Actually, that made the most sense of all of them. I didn't even consider that.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So you're up, Tim, up to bat.
Here I am.
Tim was
I'm
on
at the
deck.
back.
Yep. All right. So
I'm going to totally screw this up.
I don't know.
There is so much I don't know about curling. So
Well,
go ahead.
don't have to worry too much about that. Canada has won the most medals in Olympic history with 12. Men with
In curling?
yes.
Or in
I'm
general?
sorry, in curling. In curling.
I was
Canada's
about to say Canada
No.
winning the most medals in the Olympics. I know that's not true.
Yeah. But it's in curling. So think about that. 12.
Now that hurts. Okay.
Men with Brooms was
Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen's last movie. And on that same note, Leslie Nielsen, known for his practical jokes, especially his fart machine,
Yeah.
he has "Let Her Rip" on his gravestone.
So wait a minute. Is that all the second one?
No, that's the third one.
The
So-
third one is Let Her Rip on the gravestone.
Yeah, the second one is that Men with Brooms was
his
last
last film.
movie. And then Canada has won the most medals in curling in Olympic history with 12. And medals is
honestly,
gold, silver, and bronze.
yeah. Here's where I am with this. I know that America actually does pretty damn good in curling.
Okay.
In particular, the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, there it is.
And I'm kind of thinking, do I want to gamble with that one? I also, Leslie Nielsen, I can't remember when he died, but 20 years ago? That seems an awful long time ago. I thought it was more recent than that, but he may not have made a lot of films for a while. It's between those two. Let Her Rip sounds like something he would put on his tombstone. So I'm going to go with this was not Leslie Nielsen's last movie.
Good job. That's correct.
Oh, woo! That was
Nice job, Tim.
I was really guessing. I almost wanted to go with the other one.
Kind of wish you would have.
I bet you did. I bet you did. I was really tempted because I know Wisconsin had the skipper in the last
But
thing, and they didn't get gold, but did they get silver or bronze? I can't remember. But it's like there's always the U.S. and Canada.
as far as medal counts for the Olympics, it goes Canada, Sweden, Great Britain. So we're not even in the top three.
Really?
In total medals in curling, yes.
Well, I'm glad I didn't go for that. Glad I didn't go for it. All right, so let's take a look at the
High
scoreboard.
score.
You
Tied it up.
now why is
That's
that
not even close to
updated?
being right.
Why is that not updated?
I don't know.
That's supposed to
All this
update.
technical stuff is you.
Keep source in memory. That we need to make go away.
All this behind the scenes stuff people see.
And it's angering me to a new level, pal.
Again with the angry. It's all
Yeah.
tied up the hard way.
Let's try
See?
this.
Yeah.
Why is it not updating?
Yeah, I don't. So the thing.
Okay,
is
we're
that-
gonna jump to a different scene and back.
Should I just tell 'em?
Let's see.
Okay.
Well, you go ahead. You keep talking
with
while I'm
the
fixing
horror movie
things.
was a 2. The sports movie was a 7.
Right.
So therefore, I have 7 points. Tim has 2. Now Tim got the trivia question right, so he gets 5 points for that. So he'll be at 7, and I'll stay at 7.
There we go. So now, what's interesting is we're competitive coming out of the first inning. Because usually Jeff goes to a massive lead at the beginning. So I have a chance this season.
You won last season.
I'm really throwing away this season. I got to tell you, because the movies that I have for Jeff are going to terrify him. So let's talk a little bit about the movie that I'm going to be giving you called Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. This is a movie about slasher movies. It's kind of postmodern.
What does that mean?
It's
Really, what is postmodern?
kind of postmodern means that it kind of walks outside of the usual tropes of the genre. So what they do here is it looks like a documentary about a guy that really wants to be a slasher. And it turns out he really is a slasher. And bad stuff happens. Lots and lots of murder.
I don't even
You're going to love this film in so many different ways.
I don't even like the movie box. Oh my God.
Why not?
That looks freaking that looks creepy.
That hurts my feelings.
Why? That shouldn't hurt your feelings.
Why do you want to hurt my feelings? All right, so let's talk about a sports movie that you picked.
Yes, the Cannonball Run.
Is that a sports movie?
Yes, they're competing against each other. It is a sports movie. I'm sure there will be alcohol in here, so that's part of the sports because Tim always comments on that. There's going to be women in here. There's going to be a lot of big name stars. This is probably one of the first type movies that actually had a lot of cameos, wouldn't you say? Or not really?
No. No.
Like what? Give me an example of another one.
It's a mad world.
Okay, so this is like the second one.
All the airplane movies, all the disaster movies. But this was definitely the Burt Reynolds comedies. This was the beginning of a lot of that stuff.
And it's so cool. You got Jamie Farr, you got Dean Martin, you have Sammy Davis Jr., you have him.
You have all of Adrienne Barbeau on display.
Yes.
Farrah
Fawcett.
Yeah. There is something for every prepubescent boy in this
Farrah
movie.
Fawcett. I actually started watching this last night because I watched the zombie movie and I had to have something before I went to bed, so I watched
this. Yeah, this is a very different taste.
But you have Farrah Fawcett, and man, you really appreciate Farrah Fawcett, let me just tell you.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yep, so you get Cannonball Run, so enjoy.
She didn't make that many mainstream movies.
No.
She did a lot of television, not a whole lot of mainstream movies. It's kind of surprising because she was one of the biggest stars of the time.
When her poster came out, wasn't it like the hottest selling poster of all time at that time?
Yes. Yeah, it might still be if they, adjust for dollars
like
or
they
something.
do with Star Wars and stuff like that.
It was absolutely huge. Oh, we have a prediction.
Yeah.
That you're taking the lead next week.
Yeah, great. I hope that's right.
Why would you think that? Why would he think that? Because that particular commentator knows how much I love Cannonball Run.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
All right, baby.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
I think you're going to see a pretty good score. I don't expect a pretty good score on Leslie Vernon, though it is an excellent movie.
I'm going to be tortured.
No. This is awesomeness, and you're going to get to experience it.
One quick update. When I give my score for movies, it's usually about how scared I was.
Yeah.
But in the case of this one this week, and it's not to beat down on it some more, it's just, to me, this last movie was boring. And that's why it got such a bad score. It didn't scare me one bit. It was just boring for me.
I can understand
there was no storyline.
There is a very soggy second act.
Ooh, I like
and by that I mean the middle part of the movie could probably have been shortened quite a bit.
Yeah.
I enjoy it for a lot of that stuff. I enjoy seeing them screwing around in the ice rink in the shopping mall, because we had a shopping mall with an ice rink.
We did. I
enjoy more than anything. The soundtrack on this movie is so crazy. There are parts of it that are fantastic, done by Dario Argento and Goblin, and they're a spooky band and all this stuff. That is excellent. And then a lot of the music that they play is just so inappropriate and stupid.
Yes.
I just love that. It cracks me up. And some of the announcements and stuff that go over the mall, it just cracks me up. What I wish they had was a reference to Layaway. You just don't hear about Layaway anymore. Yes. I love it. Hey, everybody.
Before you close, just wait. I forgot one quick thing. I meant to do this in the beginning. Nobody saw that. You weren't in the camera when you did it. But anyways, here's the thing. Real quick, I want to throw out a happy birthday to my father-in-law. It's actually his birthday.
Your father-in-law?
It's his birthday today, Tommy O'Day. 91 times around the sun today.
91?
Yes, so Tommy O'Day, happy birthday. I hope you had a good one. I enjoyed seeing you today. We had a good time. And Many more. We'll have that pizza party real soon.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Tim.
Well, it is time to close the crypt and call the game. Thank you for watching, and remember to share and subscribe to our show and feed. You can find the show at otherworldlyculture.com and follow the show on Apple Podcast. Why the hell are you laughing?
Because I'll tell you later.
Such an ass. Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Pandora, iHeart, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and other fine places you find podcasts. Hey, everybody, if it's sports, it's called a home run. If it's horror, run home! We're dead on the bases, and we'll see you next time. Otherworldlyculture.com. That was a solid show.